Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching GPTV, and we're here at the Green Party Presidential Convention in Baltimore. It's really exciting to have all these Greens here today and tomorrow. Today I've got Joyce Palmer-Fortune, and she's from Whately, Massachusetts.
Yes.
And she's an office holder. She's a selectman, which I understand is kind of like a city council person, but Massachusetts calls it selectman. And why don't you tell everyone about when you became a Green, and start out with that.
Okay. I first registered Green in 2002 when Jill Stein was running for governor of Massachusetts. A couple years later, I did my first run for the select board, or the selectman's office in Whately. We have a New England town meeting style government. So our legislative body is the town, and the executive body is a three-person select board.
Oh, okay.
I lost my first time, but I won my second time running, and I just was reelected last June for a second term on the select board.
How long are the terms?
3-year terms.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that gives you a chance to get something done.
A little something done, yeah.
Yeah. Are there any progressives or Greens on the...
Well, the rest of our select board, the two other members, are both Democrats. One I would characterize as a progressive Democrat and one as a conservative Democrat. But our town is fairly diverse. I'd say the spectrum runs from one end to the other. Mm-hmm. But our board, I don't know how unique it is, but we take everybody's input into account. That's as you should, mm-hmm. I think.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about a couple of things that you've been able to accomplish there.
Well, one of the things that I'm particularly proud of was I was on the negotiating team for a solar facility that's going to be built in our town this coming summer. A nonprofit organization called Citizens Energy proposed to put on a little 1.5 acre site a 1.8 megawatt solar facility, and of course everybody is always against anything new. So at least part of what we needed to do was work out a way that could be affordable for this solar company, but also address the concerns that citizens had. We were at a meeting the other day about a second facility, and we were asked, are there any adverse health effects due to this solar panel going in? And actually they didn't say adverse, they said, are there health effects? And we said, yes, there'll be less carbon dioxide in the air, there'll be less mercury in the air, there'll be less sulfur in the air, you won't have as much asthma. And we just rattled on the list, and everyone was like, oh, of course. And these are the people who are so afraid of change, and then having them realize that the change can be good, and that this kind of change. And I think it was really important to run, even for this small office in this small town in the middle of Western Massachusetts, because if I wasn't there, then there wouldn't be somebody to say that. There wouldn't be somebody to stand up and say, we ought to be trying to help facilitate these sites. Because if someone wanted to come in and do fracking, they wouldn't be bothering asking us about this. So the main accomplishment was to use a new little change in the law to allow the local tax payments to be not made all up front, but to be made over the 25-year period that they would be earning money on the solar site, rather than having all of this property tax right up front when their facilities are new. So we worked that out. In the long run, the town will get more money than they otherwise would have gotten. We just get it at a more even, smaller rate per year. And that made all the difference for this company to be able to finance. So it does help industry. It's not the case that Greens are always against what industries and corporations want. But it was also good for our town, because now we have that little bit of income is going to make the difference between having a full-time kindergarten teacher or not. That's the kind of thing that you can be there every day to make a difference on.
Plus it's going to create jobs.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know how many?
I do not happen to know how many, because it'll be just a couple of months, probably a lot of people, and I don't know what that would work out to equivalent of how many jobs. But there'll be that, and then there'll be the next solar site, and the next solar site after that. Our town's pilot agreement, payment in lieu of taxes, was what it was technically called. That's a model for the rest of the state. We were one of the first towns to do that. And I think because our entire select board was pro-solar, and me in particular being on that committee, made a big difference.
Oh, excellent. That's exciting. Cool. What else?
I'm trying to think of big things, and I think sometimes a select board has basically just got to be supportive of the other boards in town. Our other boards are also very good. Our Conservation Commission, working on pollution issues, we're very supportive of those folks, and when they come to us and say, we've got a problem, this is what we need you to do to help us work with the State Conservation Commission, we go right ahead, and we've all been very supportive. Also, our school committee has been very out front about energy audits, about improving the energy usage at the school. I think there were several years when we did not have to pass an override because our school committee was so proactive about making energy investments at the school that saved us money in the long run. So when it came time to butt heads with anyone in the administration who didn't want to work with us, just our support for the school committee in their work. So just being there when the question gets asked, I think, is the important thing. That's why it's important for people to be on our local boards. There was one other thing that came up. Massachusetts has long time had tax breaks for companies who do manufacturing, and there's different kinds of manufacturing corporations. We had a local company who never had to pay their local personal property tax because they were this manufacturing corporation, because they were creating jobs in the community. They were bought by a large multinational company, and so their corporate status changed. So they were no longer eligible for that particular tax break. So they came before the board and said, well, we're not eligible for this tax break, but could you just continue that for us anyway, because we have that prerogative. And I feel like it may have been, if there were a different set of 3 people there, it may have been that they would have said, oh, yes, don't move away. Please stay and don't pay any taxes. This board, and I wouldn't say me alone, but being there made a difference. We looked into it and found they were getting state tax breaks that by far just blew away the little local tax break they were getting. So we said, no, we think you need to pay a little bit of local taxes. This year, between all the state cuts to our school aid, to our local town aid, and the fact that inflation keeps going up, we did not have to lay off any teachers. We did not have to lay off any town workers. We were able to give people raises, meager though they are in this economy. We were able to, for the first time in 15 years, invest in some local infrastructure, put away some money for a fire truck, which is overdue for replacement, put away some money for a police cruiser, which is way overdue. Uh-oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Another satisfied customer, yes. We were able to make investments in our town infrastructure, which has been just so badly neglected over the last 15 years. We have not addressed anything on our capital plan for 15 years. And this is the first year we actually funded 6 items off of our capital plan, things that really needed to be done so that we can save money in the future by making those investments now.
That's great. Unlike a lot of towns that are really struggling.
Yeah, and the only reason we could do that was because this company, now a part of a multinational, had to pay their taxes. And because the people who sat at that table were willing to ask those questions and not just listen to the company line and go along with it.
Do you see other Green Party members in your community running for selectmen or other offices? You can have other office holders?
There's there's a Green on our school committee.
Oh, okay.
Who has been chair. I think he's been there much longer than I. He's been there for 4 terms. Other Greens in town, I don't know. We haven't twisted their arms yet, but they are active on local committees as well.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Joyce.
Oh, thank you.
It's great to hear about what you're doing in Whately, and maybe you'll get a chance to have you on again sometime.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks everybody.